Hi, YouTube family and podcast listeners. I am now expanding to podcasting as well. So I want to welcome you all to this channel. This is Escape from Crazytown. And today I want to talk about why narcissists immediately marry the new supply. And there's so many reasons for this, but I'm going to try to stick to just a few because it could go on for hours. We can talk about this. But I think one of the main reasons is because after you have caught on to them and you know what they're like and you're not putting up with it anymore, you've set some boundaries and now you have scared the daylights out of them. They know they cannot pass over you all the things they used to do. They know you won't accept their abuse anymore, and they know they need somebody else who's going to pamper them. So they cling to the new supply. And if this new supply is willing to do their bidding, willing to get into trouble for them, willing to lay down their life for the narcissist, they're going to hold on to that new supply. And one of the things that makes me think of this are women who write to criminals and marry felons, violent felons in jail. And the felons know that they can use these women. And these women get to the point where they say, well, I was watching one where this woman was saying she's a ride or die woman, which means she was willing to commit crimes with her, it's not even her lover, it's her narcissistic, crazy, violent, criminal boyfriend that she met while he was a felon. Anyway, so if they find supply that's willing to do this, they are going to latch on. There's another reason that they'll marry immediately the new supply. It's if the new supply is providing for them this tender, loving care because they've come out of your relationship kind of damaged. And the damage is not the kind of damage we suffer. It's that we have noticed that they're a narcissist and we're not going to take it anymore. So that damages them, that injures them when we won't succumb to their tactics and manipulations and won't allow them to win all the time anymore because we've gotten some self-respect. Well, they want the new supply to be someone who's going to care for them, see them as the victim. Everybody is out to get them, and especially you, the ex, is a horrible person that the new supply has to rescue them from. Build them up again and make them feel whole again, make them feel wanted and loved and accepted, and no matter what they do to the new supply. So they also look for someone who's going to stroke their ego, right? The new supply, if the new supply is doing all of this for them, stroking their ego, healing their wounds for them, totally on their side, agrees that you must have been this crazy, horrible, obsessive, abusive person that the new supply needs to rescue them from, then suddenly the narcissist becomes the star in the new supply's eyes. Like the new supply wants to cater to them, to their every need. So when the narcissist sees this, they're going to want to marry this new supply. They've been injured. They're clinging to somebody who's going to rescue them from you, essentially, and give them the narcissistic life that they want. And if the new supply is willing to do this, oh yeah, they're going to marry that new supply right away. Because it also proves that you're the crazy one and that they were able to move on. Well, another reason, of course, the obvious reason that a narcissist will marry immediately after you is if they find somebody who has money, who is better off than you were, and someone that they can see themselves climbing the social ladder with, someone that they see they can use, someone who's got something that's valuable to them. Whether it's real estate or connections or status or maybe jobs that will open up for them if they stick with the new supply. Oh yeah, they're going to want to marry this person right away because this is probably a supply that they haven't had and they've kind of moved up a tier maybe, in their own minds. Now, it also works the other way where they attract new supply by flaunting that they have money. So say your ex-narcissist is the one who has money, but you have stepped in and said, or you have put your foot down and said, I'm not going to be your slave anymore. I'm not going to do everything you want me to do anymore. I'm not going to allow you to abuse me anymore. Well, now they're going to flaunt their wealth or their image of wealth and try to catch a new supply. Now, if they're able to catch someone who just falls completely for this, like this is the sadness of it. A new supply will even fall for this if the guy or woman is married, right? They don't care. They love that the narcissist is love bombing them. They love that the narcissist is paying all this attention to them. So, and especially if the narcissist appears to have money. And so this new supply, well, is kind of a jerk, right? Could be a man and could be a woman, by the way. It crosses genders. And the funny thing to me, okay, this picture is hilarious. It's a guy with a big fat wallet coming out of his pocket because he's got so much money that he can't fit his wallet in his pocket, right? It's just bursting out of his pocket. And oh my gosh, supply, unfortunately, very susceptible supply to the narcissist. Narcissist knows to do this. If they're susceptible to flaunting of money, they are going to allow the narcissist to treat them extremely badly in order to hold on to this dream of a financial future with the narcissist. And the narcissist, if they can fool the supply for a short time and they know they can't sustain this kind of lifestyle, they're going to marry that supply right away and pin them down, because they also know that they're getting older, right? They're not the young, spry kind of, guy or girl that they used to be. They're not the catch anymore. They're, physically, that is, right? They're not on their game like they used to be, the very charismatic and draw everybody in, because as they get older, they're not going to look as appealing to new supply anymore. So if they can still catch new supply while they have a little bit of their looks left, they're going to want to pin that down. They're going to want to get married right away and keep them. If the narcissist is an aging narcissist, they're going to want to pin down the next supply they can get, because they know their time is running out in order to find good supply, if you will, right? They know that they're not going to be able to find good supply much longer, because people, are not going to be as attracted to them, aren't going to be pulled in as easily as when the narcissist was young and charismatic and able to win, people over. They had their looks, man. Yeah, women, narcissists can attract all kinds of men, older and younger, rich and up and coming. The male narcissist, same thing. They know they can capture a more attractive woman and even an affluent woman if they're good looking. So they're going to want to make sure they pin down the new supply if they're getting older. But here's the sad thing, I guess, for us. We're going to see that they're going to flaunt this new supply, and they're going to act as if this new supply is their actual soulmate, and that you were horrible and abusive and you were the problem in their relationship. So that's another reason they'll marry the new supply right away, is to prove to their family and friends and your family and friends that you were the problem. Because if you weren't the problem, how is it that they're able to find a soulmate right away, someone who can love them and care for them and holds them in such high esteem and treats them so well? It's because you're the person who is abusive, and they finally found someone who's willing to love and care and be kind and gentle and generous with them. So they're going to pit the new supply against you and then marry them just to make sure everybody gets the point that you were the problem. So they're going to paint this portrait of themselves like, oh, look at me, I'm with my new supply, or I'm with my new soulmate, right? It's just a supply. And they're putting on this act, and the supply buys into it. They think, oh my gosh, I found this man or this woman who loves me so much and wants to protect me and wants to be with me forever, and sees having children together if they're not too old, and it could be an older man, younger woman, I'm the only one they ever wanted to have children with. Oh my gosh, I must mean so much to them. And they paint this picture for everybody, for their family, for your friends, for the mutual co-workers. So everybody's going to think, wow, there's really something wrong with you if they can move on and have such a beautiful, amazing, romantic, fairy tale relationship. And they may even send out pictures on Facebook, all their social media, right, to look like that. But this is what the reality is. This is the kind of picture that would realistically depict their new supply relationship. And it's so sad. And if you're on my podcast, it's a picture of some guy and he's, smoking a cigarette and he looks pretty grumpy and miserable. And the woman is, she's got her nose pretty much smashed in the back of his shoulder, standing behind him. It's a very gray, grim picture. And she's neglected. He's, probably more focused on his cigarette than he is on her. And this is what the real picture of that relationship is. Even if at the beginning the new supply thinks that they're being loved and this is their soulmate, what the new supply, in short order, I'm telling you, it does not last long. Maybe for the public it looks like a long-term relationship and long-term fairy tale, but in private it really feels like despair. It feels like you're alone. It feels like you don't have a soulmate, and you're clinging so hard. This is the new supply, clinging so hard to the narcissist because they truly believe the dream and the fantasy, right? The future faking that the narcissist has perfected. They know how to make a future look like it's going to be this fairy tale come true. But the reality is that the new supply is alone more than they are going to feel wholeness or together. They're not going to feel happiness with the narcissist. They'll muster the happiness if the narcissist is rich and has status and gives them good supply, and the narcissist actually becomes the supply, right? If the narcissist is able to supply some things for the supply, they're going to feel like they're in heaven for a while, or at least portray it. But deep inside, they're going to feel empty. They're going to feel, like the whole world is dark and closing in on them. They're going to lose. They're going to start losing things, and they're not going to understand what's going on in their life, right? The dissonance that happens when you're with a narcissist. The supply is going to just look around and find out they're losing all kinds of things. They're losing their status. They're losing their money, right? They're losing their assets. They're losing control of their kids because the narcissist is taking over their kids and even turning their kids against them. Or their kids are going to become miserable, right? That's another thing that will happen to the new supply if they come into the relationship and have kids. Because that's another thing, by the way. The narcissist will marry if the new supply has extra supply. Like if they have kids, that will give the narcissist more supply because one person is not enough for the narcissist. So what ends up happening, though, is that the new supply is going to feel trapped. Their kids are going to feel trapped. And they're going to be required to give the narcissist constant adoration, constant affirmation, and just constantly building up the narcissist. And you're standing on the outside of this. And that's the beauty of it, right? You're standing on the outside. You get to be the person driving by and seeing the wreck. That is the relationship that the narcissist has with their new spouse, new supply. You know it's headed towards a wreck. You know they're going to crash. You just know it. But you don't have to be there to watch it, and you probably won't even see it happen. And one day you'll just find out that they got a divorce, or one day you'll find out that the supply walked out on them, or one day you'll find out that the narcissist walked out on the new supply. It's going to happen. But even if you never hear about it, just be glad that you are on the outside and you are not part of that wreckage. You're not going to be part of it anymore. You are coming out of your own wreckage. You have to come out of it. You have to see straight now. Don't feel that you're missing out on anything, because really, you're not. You're not missing out on a thing. The narcissist wants to make it look like you are because they want to blame you for all the misery that they ended up, at the end of the relationship, because you won't take their narcissistic ways anymore. You've caused them narcissistic injury by standing up to them, by not accepting their lies anymore, by not accepting their abuse anymore. And actually, even if you're the one who walked out, you're the one who left, that's huge narcissistic injury to them. And even with that, I know that some people out there are feeling the pain and loss of the love that they used to have with their narcissist. But just realize that you are the lucky one. And if they should marry the next person, a lot of times, this is the crazy thing, a lot of times a narcissist will marry the next person in less than a year. It's insane to me. But this is how injured people behave. And a narcissist is going to be injured at the end of your relationship because they need to fill a void right away. So YouTube family and podcast family, I hope that this has helped you to see straight. Hope this has helped you to not miss the narcissist and not fall for the games and the lies that they're portraying on social media about their new, beautiful, amazing life without you. Let them have that wreck. Let them have that pretend world. In the meantime, you're going to do great. The first step in creating a great life now that you're away from the narcissist is to get away and stay away from that wreckage, no matter how good it might look on social media. So YouTube family and podcast family, I hope that if this has helped you, please subscribe, please comment, and please like my videos if you're here on YouTube, and I will talk to you soon.